It's a new meal pre-ordering service where customers will be able to pre-select their hot main meal between 14 days and 24 hours in advance of your flight, meaning you will always get the meal you want without a shadow of doubt, and also Emirates will be able to reduce food waste.
The initiative will be rolled out from 25th July onwards in business class on all flights between Dubai and London Heathrow, London Gatwick and London Stansted. So Emirates plans to expand the meal pre-order initiative to more routes and classes in the near future and is closely monitoring customer feedback from the initial rollout phase. So it's just the initial rollout phase now, like we mentioned, and of course, like as they see the results, they'll roll it out to more flights and more routes. And this is just a very amazing service that they have started initiating, because as we know, like during flights, right, like you have those situations where it's like you want a certain meal and it's like out, like they're out of it because you're all the way in the back, and by that time everyone wants exactly the same thing that you want. So this is perfect.
This is exactly it, because I think it can happen where the meal that you want is gone and you're left with another one. And also, logistically, I feel like it makes sense to know what people want before they get on the flight. It feels like a no-brainer in terms of food waste. So the response in general is yes. I know I'd like to be able to choose my meal before a restaurant. If I'm going out to eat this Friday, I'm on the menu. I'm choosing. Before I go, you think about, maybe I'm being healthy this day. Maybe it's the start of a holiday. I'm not being healthy, but I make the decision.
Yes.
And I like to choose before and then I look forward to the meal. So I quite like this initiative. And just in terms of the food waste and logistics of future, in terms of the future of flying, it will make sense to not have the option for people. It makes sense to have it more streamlined, and you choose your meal before you get on the flight. So, but they want customer feedback, which is why we dropped the question in, and then you can really see what people want into our comments, because people do not hold back. And people in general are saying it's only business class for now. Yes, it is, but it will, if it's effective, be rolled out to other flights. It's only business class, people informed, yes, and in general people are responsive and positive to the news.
I'm actually surprised this wasn't like the norm to begin with. Why wasn't the norm to begin with? Like for people to choose exactly what meal they want before they board, and like to reduce all that food wastage from the get-go. Like why wasn't that a thing?
Do you think is the whole experience of, to me, a trolley cart coming along the aisle, it reminds me of trains, you know, and it's just like, it was always a nice experience of like, what drink will you have? What meal will you have? And it kind of, but it feels a little bit archaic and traditional, and you're kind of waiting for something to be digitized in that sector. Like in my head, one day in future, rather than the hour and obviously the crews who need to roll the trolleys, and then there's turbulence, and then you don't know when your meal is coming. Maybe they'll put like, you have your, I don't know how they would do this in terms of the air vent, but in one day they'll have like a little passage and all the meals will come out on top and just drop down, right?
Wow. I mean, you are thinking like futuristic.
But that's not, I don't know. Wouldn't that be an easier model?
Yeah.
Someone's designing planes thinking that's not possible. We're never going to do that.
Coming down from the vents.
Not from the vents, but it would be an open shaft, and then they could close it over, because it still allows the air. You still have your light, but then at mealtime, and everyone eats meals at the same time, they close over the shafts and all the meals come out on these trays. Wouldn't be that hard.
Like a yo sushi belt.
Like a yo sushi belt on an Emirates flight. Who's listening?
You make that happen, Casey. Patent that idea and make that happen.
I just went, I love a flight on a meal.
Meal on a flight.
I love airplane food. So as soon as I get that smell, you're waiting for an hour and I'm thinking, I wish I was eating right now.
Airplane food
particularly Emirates is just
100%.
The best.
Once they gave me wok noodles, it's like, it makes your day.
What?
They gave me wok noodles.
Oh. Where were you flying?
In Bali. That makes sense, right?
That's what's cool, because the meals are always regional and it gets you excited for where you're going.
100%. But of course, like them even thinking like, let's try this out with one route and see how it goes. It's a great step towards like rolling it out completely all across the board, because like Casey said, like this does help so much in reducing food wastage. And of course, like it has your preference on board. And if you choose a certain meal, it's like you make your bed, you lay in it now, finish. Like you've chosen that, stick with it.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people on flights choosing like a chicken, like, oh no, what they're having is so much better. Can you please trade and give me a beef? Like, no.
And that, of course, would happen, and that would be a concern because obviously, as a paying guest, and flights aren't cheap, Emirates would probably be concerned about people changing their minds when they get on the flight and they see the other option.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, business is business. It's like my mum on a flight. She'll be looking into business class thinking, oh, what are they eating? She asks. And is there any left? Sometimes
Love
they
that.
give it to her. Yeah, good for her.
Yeah.
When you get over 70, you can do what you want.
Of course. That is your prime time.
Yeah. Until then, we need to respect.
But guys, how many of y'all have just played around with food orders and like exchange? Let us know. We know one of y'all is watching.